Hi, I'm Tom.
I'm Matty.
And I'm Lewis.
This is the Wigan Way, Wigan's favourite rugby league podcast.
He'll put you in his trap 'cause he's a union man. He's got it all figured out. He won't care what you think 'cause he's a northern man. He's allowed to speak his mind. His mind.
The Wigan Way podcast is brought to you by Cherry and White Pins, a local Wigan Warriors themed pin badge company with a variety of Wigan ranges. You can get free shipping on all orders when you use the code THEWIGANWAY, that's The Wigan Way, all in capitals, at checkout. Thanks to them for supporting the show.
So, it was the week after Wembley. We managed to get another 2 points. One of them for me, guys, it sort of doesn't matter how you get them as long as you get them 2 points. It's always difficult to back up. I'm sure I read that it was something like there's only 2 or 3 teams ever in the last 10, 12 years to win the week after winning at Wembley. So the key for me is it's 2 points.
Yeah, professional.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
So before we jump into it, Matt, how you doing, mate?
Good. I enjoyed going to Castleford. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad it was the last time we're going this year. Our third trip. But I enjoy it there. I like it. It's a nice place to go when it's okay weather. I just, I'm glad it's done now. That one. I'm glad it's done.
Lewis, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good. So it was my first time at Castleford. I've not been there. And like Matty said, I enjoyed it, to be fair. Not probably the outstanding facilities or anything like that, but they had a nice little vibe going at the jungle. We walked in, they've got the food vans and the bars around the outside before you go in and actually take your stand on the standing
They're
bit.
trying, aren't they?
You know what I mean? There was a bit of an atmosphere type thing, which was good, which you got to give them respect for, and everyone seemed pretty nice in there and stuff. It seemed alright.
It's improving, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's improving.
it seemed alright.
They're trying.
Right. Wigan win this game 10 points to 8. Half time was 4 points apiece. Are we concerned about winning by 2 points, or is it, as we said before, just a job done and move on, take your 2 points and forget about it?
Absolute steal. Week after Wembley, don't care. Steal a win. Week before Wembley, to be honest with you, I don't care. Steal a win. Second week after Wembley, same. I mean, if you win the cup and get 6 points either side of it, out of 6, you are in absolute dreamland. Don't care how you get them.
Well, it's a brilliant situation for us now, isn't it? That from the cup, we can win 2 games before it. We beat Castleford and we're going to play London. It's potentially 8 points either side of the Challenge Cup final.
Yes.
You'd have snatched someone's hands off for that at the start of the season, wouldn't you?
I think we had every reason, if you like. There was plenty of reasons or excuses we could have given for losing this game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was the week after the cup, we had a couple out, completely new left-hand side, all stuff like that. There was, we would have lost this game. There was plenty of excuses we could have given. Cass did, it wasn't a world-class performance, but they turned up better than they have done in other games this season.
They dug in, yeah.
I think they probably thought they had a bit of a chance again, knowing it was the week.
Two
after
weeks
the
of
cup.
training. 2 weeks of training for that
it.
game.
So
Yeah, but apparently John Wilkins said after 58 minutes they had every right to be tired. Castleford, that is, not Wigan.
Oh, that's an interesting comment.
That's why he's not a coach.
Yeah. 2 tries for Liam Marshall. Tex Hoy getting the try for Castleford. Harry Smith kicking 1 goal and got his name now. Rowan Milnes. Kicking the goal and a penalty goal as well to make it 10 points to 8.
Lewis was just doing Rowan Mills' kicky technique there where he does the creepy eyes at the ball.
he does the serial
Oh,
killer.
yeah.
He looks at the ball and just looks up at the post with a
Looks at the
very
post, dead slow.
scowling face on him.
Now, Liam Marshall's first try. Just that repetitive block play that we do. We got into position on the right hand side. Almost perfectly executed. 6 minutes into this game. Pretty much the perfect start.
Yeah, just shift the ball right to left. Jake Wardle's going to make the right decision, isn't he?
It was lovely hands from Wardle. The catch and pass. Wingo's jamming in, trying to put a bit of pressure on him. Kind of just said, "Go on, then. If you're good enough, all I can do is force you to make the pass."
Yep.
And Wardle is good enough. He is good enough to get that pass away. And it was a nice move. It was a nice opening try.
Really nice opening try. Harry Smith misses the conversion, 4-0, and 25 minutes later, at the 30-minute mark, Tex Hoy scores for Castleford. Not happy with how we get cut through here. It seemed a little bit too easy for him to walk through the middle. It was some good hands.
Lewis has said before that when we concede from the opponent's half, when they start with the ball in their half and we concede, that's not a very Wigan try to concede. You know what I mean?
And defensively, I think it was just a misread. The second row for Castleford on the short ball and the hit Tex Hoy on the outside.
They targeted that side a lot, Castleford. Our right-hand side, isn't it?
Our right-hand side, yeah.
And rightly so. It was probably in their game plan because looking at the team sheet, it was a completely new right side. It was Walters' first start. I'll talk about Walters at the end because he was my pick for man of the match, but I'll come back to that.
I think he might have started at Warrington the week before.
Or did he start?
Maybe.
Well, it
Came up.
I think Walters and December might have started. It was
one side. Hampshire was there. And Eckersley obviously has only played a couple of games there as well, so it was a bit of a relatively new side to kick off.
Considering at the start of the season it was Isa French, Kieran Miskey, then it was December French, Kieran Miskey,
and December French,
Eckersley
Miskey, yeah,
and then finally followed by Walters, Hampshire. There's a double change, Eckersley and Miskey.
Was only Miskey survived the call?
Yeah, and he got a couple of weeks off at points, didn't he?
Yeah. And it'll take time for the partnerships to come and for that cohesion and chemistry to be built in defence and attack. It's going to take time.
I still think they'll just be a little bit disappointed with that bit of a misread. As you know what, as they should be. You make a misread in it, you should be a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, the pride will be it. They won't be saying that. They'll be saying it's not good enough. But I think I won't be over panicking, is what I'm saying.
No, not at all. Not at all. And again, there wasn't a feel of panic, really. I can't remember now, I've lost my train of thought, but it was in the first half, the tackle on Lehman.
Was that in the first half?
When Lehman went off for a head knock. Yeah, it was, because he came back on at half-time.
Was this the one where the cast player got sin-binned?
No.
No, that was the Miskey one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So this was the one where Thaler said, yeah, but his head hit his arm.
Yeah, it was the direction of Leeming's head hitting.
I don't know who said that, Thaler or Kendall. Obviously Thaler said it, but whether Kendall told him to say, I don't know. You know, on the repeat show.
So bad though, isn't it?
He was being tackled by another person.
I've seen the amount of Paul, and I don't know how to get into this because I don't want to be like just what's on social media because everyone's got a keyboard. But the amount of people on the rugby groups and the love rugby league posts and whatever, and saying we're Castleford on the end of some really bad call. Did they get the worst rub of the green with the referee and stuff? And I'm thinking, in a game where a Wigan player gets hit in the head and the referee says, yeah, but he's headed his arm, and then you're trying to say that they had the best calls, what?
It was one of them, and I said it to both of you two, and when they got into the dressing rooms at half time, the refs will have seen that back, I expect. And I think that's why he leant towards the yellow on the second incident, on the Miskey high shot. I think the first one was definitely more of a yellow card.
I think the first one was an obvious yellow card.
Yeah.
I think the reason people think that Wigan got the rub of the green instead of Castleford is a very simple reason. Is that because Wigan are better than Castleford. And that's why people think we get the rub of the green. That's the only reason. It's the same reason people seem to have this theory about every big club getting the best of the decisions. Warrington and Saints and Wigan can't all get the best of the decisions, because what happens when they play each other? The referees just walk around blindly confused.
Yeah. Into the second half.
You missed the most egregious
error. Bevan French no try.
This
an,
was horrendous.
for an obstruction, which was clearly a bad defensive read. It was exactly the same, actually.
It was that bad of a defensive read. French then ran on the outside
Of
of
the
the
next
next defender. He didn't go round the one that made the read. He went around the next guy. And they seemed to let this play for about 10 seconds.
There's absolutely no way that this is an obstruction. Much the same way there's no way Tex Hoy's try was an obstruction.
No.
Poor defensive read. But he did actually go through the gap created by that poor defensive read. French went through a completely different gap because Farrell went near somebody.
Stopped short of the line. Didn't make contact with anyone.
This is an outrageous decision. I can't quite believe it was given as obstruction when he's quite clearly about to score. I just don't get it.
Why
But we get all the decisions, don't we?
Why would you not just let it play?
We get all the
And then
decisions.
Go and check it. Why would you not just go and check it? I don't get that at all. But second half, Castleford opened the scoring with a penalty. Takes it to 6 points to 4. Then Kane Robb gets his yellow card for his tackle on Miski, and I said it, and I don't know if I'm right with this or not, but I do think the fact that he didn't give the yellow in the first challenge influenced him.
Last year in the Challenge Cup semi-final, you said the Joe Shorrock's hit on Mikey Lewis was just a penalty. This, if you slow it down frame by frame, if you play it at full speed, if you go at any angle, is exactly the same. No mitigation. Hits him probably upper chest, neck area.
Chest.
Whiplash.
And
Shoulder first.
the whiplash
direct.
thing, I've got to say, the whiplash thing. You can't get whiplash when your head's smashed. The whiplash comes from when you hit the upper part of the body and the head rocks forward and then bounces back. You can't get whiplash and have your head knocked backwards at the same time. It doesn't work like that.
This to me, and the whole uproar about this even being a yellow card, just proves how terrible the decision was last year to send off Shorrocks.
Yeah.
You took the words out of my mouth, mate, because I was just about to say we're on about this yellow card, and I was like, it's funny that Shorrock's got a red for that in last year's semi.
Exactly the same thing.
Well, last year's semi-final, so you took the words out of my mouth.
I can't quite believe how alike the incidents are.
Yeah.
You never really see two red card offences, or two card offences that look so similar. Usually you say, well, such a thing was a red and this was only a yellow. But they do look a bit different. You can tell there's a difference.
See a slight difference.
I can't believe how close they are. And yet, this one shouldn't be a yellow because it's against Wigan. And that one should have been, well, what's worse than a red? It should have been giving him a dark red card because he plays for Wigan.
Yeah. Whilst Castleford were down to 12 men, they got another penalty at the 60-minute mark. Milne's kicking this again, took it to 8 points to 4. He's a very good kicker, and he certainly helps. I think they played the game very well here, Cass. Obviously down to 12 and taking the penalty, taking a minute off the time. What doesn't help is then nearly concede only the set after, allowing Bevan French to dance through and almost go untouched.
Which one was... So this was the Bevan French one where he went through. When was Thompson? Because Thompson took a drive and just destroyed everyone straight through the middle. When was that?
I think that was...
Did that lead to the...
That would have been around 60 minutes.
That, I think, wasn't that... No.
Second half.
Wasn't that after the Marshall try, the set after?
It was after a kick-off. Second tackle off a kick-off.
Yeah.
Because Harvey Hill sort of took it wide and then Thompson went through. So maybe it led to the 2 points after the try. And French led to the try. Is that what you're going to say?
The French led to the try.
Yeah.
I don't think...
and then they kicked off to us and Thompson went through the middle and we ended up getting 2 points.
Yeah. So French obviously makes the break down the left-hand side. Him at full-back. He's a different full-back to Field.
Yeah.
He might not have the same engine that Field does. I think is a fair thing to say. I think Field's a little bit more energetic, Duracell bunny-like, likes to be everywhere and pop up. But French is a different threat with obviously his step, his attacking flow. And you see that with the step to get through the line. We talk about classy centres, Jake Wardle. How often does he just get on the outside of a defender that knows he's going to get on the outside of them? But you can't stop it.
Well, he's got that left foot step that can cut back inside if you overchase.
Bit of luck though. Throws the ball back inside. Rowan Milnes, he has to throw out a hand because Farrell's back on the inside. But it hits Milnes' hand straight up in the air. Marshall does really, really well to catch and collect. And then off the kick-off, Hill and Thompson make that break, with Thompson getting over halfway. It was really impressive again, Luke Thompson.
Yeah,
I know Lewis is going to talk about his man of the match in a bit, but I think Thompson was for me. I was impressed with your choice, Lewis, which you've already said was Sam Walters, but I think Thompson for me proved why we spent big on him. You know, we spent big on him, and he proved why he is such a superstar and why he's a test match prop, a proper old-fashioned test match prop, but that can get through a lot of work. And how many times do you see props do what he can do, where he's solid, but also he can provide that punch, and he can be a bit of X factor where he can bust through a line. And I was surprised by how quick he was.
Yeah, I remember hearing things when he was at Saints about how quick he was, and if he gets into open space, don't be surprised if he goes. But I'd never really seen him get into open space like this.
He was rapid.
And he did really well, and obviously he gets tackled just over the halfway line. We play immediately off that, and I absolutely love that we make a break and it seems like we go for the kill immediately. We get a penalty for a late tackle on Smith, I think it was. And Smith kicks the goal to make it 10 points to 6. And that'd end up being the last points of the game. How are your nerves in these last, let's say, 10 to 15 minutes?
Yeah. I was okay. I thought we had it under control, especially once Eckersley got belted high by Jacob Miller, which Walters had to step in to allow the referee to give that penalty, but it was obvious to us he'd been hit high. Obviously, we don't execute anything with that. And then they get the chance to march down the field and Thompson hits their winger high. And then I start to get a bit concerned.
And they had one set.
They had the one set, but they also, crucially, because I was never worried about them getting close to our line, because I thought our defence in the middle of the park had been awesome. We'd never let them get to the close to the line, but the fact that they had a penalty where they could kick it deep and then attack the line made me a bit concerned, because our boys were much more tired than theirs, despite what John Wilkin concocted in his brain. Because they actually played last week, and it was a pretty big game. In case you didn't know, it was the Challenge Cup final, and Castleford weren't in that. So they didn't have a match. So they were probably the fresher of the two teams. And
I can get the argument of they've gone through more work in the game, and playing against Wigan might be more difficult than playing.
They went down to 12 for 10 minutes, but also they hadn't been in the boozers till Wednesday. So I would say our boys were probably fatigued, and Cass had a set on the line, and you know what? We defended it, and I said if we can defend this, we deserve to steal 2 points. And in fact, I say steal because we defended it. I don't even think it was a steal.
We earned 2 points.
We earned 2 points, yeah. We earned 2 points in that moment. We earned the right to go top of the table. I know Saints eventually caught us up again, but we got that game in hand still. And so we earned the right to get the 2 points there in that moment.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself, because I know Casty made a couple of errors I saw near our own line. First half, because we were stood behind the sticks, you saw there was more attacking our side in the first half. And I thought to myself, although it didn't, I don't think it ended up being an error to finish it. I think we just defended the set. But I thought to myself, they've got an hour in them as well. Is what I thought. I thought they're more likely to drop it, I think, and come up and cough up the possession and cough up the opportunity.
Yeah, they didn't execute very well, did they, Castleford? For a team that supposedly deserved the win, they didn't execute very well.
No, but first half, I think we made an error. They did the scrum, put a short ball on, and dropped it on first tackle, something like that. So
No. I just want to mention something before we move on and have a look at a couple of players in depth. But the Miller hit on Eckersley. This to me sums up everything wrong with the way that the game's being officiated.
He has to stay down to receive a penalty.
And he stayed down, and I still don't think he would have given it until Walters ran in.
And that's the thing. Actually, Matty Peake's called this out, which is very unlike him to call this out. He said, one of our young lads there has been belted illegally, right in front of the referee.
Once he's almost sat down on the floor
and
surrendered to attack.
And he has stayed down, and because he's been hit in the head. That's what you're supposed to do. And it's taken another of our lads to run in for the ref to even think about giving it.
And for me, it's a really cheap shot as well.
It sets a dangerous precedent.
It's not an accidental clip. Eckersley's almost sat down on the floor after being tackled. Miller comes in as the second man with a little bit of a swinging arm. You can't hit him high. I don't get what he's trying to do, because I'm pretty sure it was the last tackle until on the floor.
It was the last tackle, yeah.
And basically, we're saying hand the ball over and go and wait there. But Walters has to run in to make the ref give it. And then he gives Walters the big telling off.
Yeah, but I like what Walters did with the tap.
Straight at Miller.
He ran straight at Jacob Miller.
Yeah. But
you don't do
arms up as well and give him a proper
you don't do that to one of my teammates. Especially a young lad like that in the outside back.
It's old school, that, innit? Making it personal.
You do not. Who do you think you are to do that to one of my teammates? I'm going to run right over the top of you, and if I get a chance, I'll do it again.
It's an old school. It's what it reminds me of Peacock and Marley and Field and like the old ones who just used to say, "You won't do that. Come on, let's meet." And they'd go out for revenge. They couldn't forget about it. They'd make sure they got you back in.
You know what would have happened, and that's why nobody did this to Rob Burrow.
No.
You belted Rob Burrow like this, they would have been lining up to run over the top of you all game. I like that.
I'm thinking of that. Do you remember was it Peacock and McLaurin at Magic, and it kicked off?
Yeah.
And Leeds got the penalty.
And McLaurin, yeah.
Peacock tapped it, and him and McLaurin went straight at it.
And it was those two going again.
Then Bateman and
Bailey.
Ryan
Bailey,
yeah.
Sticks. Bailey got up with blood all around his head.
That was interesting. That, but it's just what I think's wrong with it. Why is he not? Why has Miller not gone for a yellow? And then you bring your captain over at Wigan and say your players are running in. Next time they run in, I'll penalise them. You give the big telling off to Walters. Had a word with Miller about hitting a bloke who sat down round the chops. And then sort of like been amazed that people were annoyed at it. Like, I just don't get it. It's so inconsistent.
Yeah. It's hard, isn't it? Where I'm kind of drew with this is, because we've talked about this before on previous episodes, the fact that Walters runs in, which means there's a break in play in the game, so then the screen shows the replay 3 times, and then he gives the high shot. Now, I don't like the fact he's got to look at the screen 3 times to see it, to give the penalty, because it needs to be caught first time. But at the end of the day, the right decision does get made.
And you're encouraging people to...
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't like it. You're encouraging people to stay down on the reds.
People to stay down, running when someone gets tapped, tell people to stay down, throw their arms up every time there's a tackle.
And last week, any sort of head contact at all, even if it wasn't a swinging arm or a falling player, was just automatic yellow card. Or it felt like it was anyway at the start of the game.
There was a game, actually, talking about this. Was it Hull and Leeds? Obviously, I know we'll get on to when we do the next segment of Around the Grounds. I can't remember. I think it was Hull and Leeds, because that was one game I watched. And somebody did it when they didn't get hit in the head. But they were staying down, holding the head, to try and get a penalty. And obviously the replays were on, and the commentators were saying, like, I think he's doing a bit of theatrics.
Well, they should call that out.
And it should be called out.
It should be called out. If people cheat like that, people cheat the system. It should be called out.
But it is creeping into the game, because people know if they stay there and hold the reds for long enough, they've got a good chance of...
No. Lewis, you highlighted Sam Walters on the way home. We were talking.
I want to
to
let Lewis loose on Sam Walters here.
Yeah, I'm going to let him. First thing I'm going to say is I've seen a lot of comments about he needs to improve his discipline. He only gave away 2 penalties. We're not talking about him giving away 5. And for a guy who... He's been a bit unfortunate, the fact that he's come back into the team a couple of weeks before Wembley. Then he picked up that 1-game ban. Would he have been in the Wembley side if he'd have played? Possibly. But he wasn't able to get that match fitness up before that. What's the word I'm looking for? Before Wembley. Then the week after, he's played 80 minutes and was blowing. He's put in a shift. Lewis, he made 27 tackles, ran for 123 metres. Was phenomenal, wasn't he?
I'll be honest with you, I mean it's in the nicest way possible. I don't care about those stats because I don't think they do him justice.
No, they don't.
Making it like, what did you say, 27 tackles. Yeah. It's not just 27 tackles, it was the type of tackles, where the tackles were on the field. One of those was on the wing, denying a try. He is a back rower, he has got no right to be on the wing trying to save tackles, but he gets in the frame. And he was just, that's not like his guy, he was everywhere. He was all over the field, just showing up in places, covering for people, making tackles that other people were missing. He was taking the hard carries. We've already talked about Miller, don't pick on one of our young lads, and he runs over the top of him, gives him arms and bumpers up for trying to get over the top of him. I thought he was immense. I thought his work ethic, he was all over the field, he was making tackles, and did he come off?
No,
I don't think he did. I think he did the full 8.
He did a full 8
as well.
yeah.
And so he was just someone. I remember just being stood behind the sticks with you two, just going, "That's Walters again.
It's Walters again.
That's Walters again, necking that tag. That's Walters who's just saved that try. It's Walters again." And that's all I kept saying.
Who's taking this carry in? Look who's ready. He's put his hand up. It's Walters.
And you
all I kept saying.
You know what? I'm going to add to that as well. they could have been 10% better. Just by his timing improving and that partnership. That'll come. But that's not a massive improvement you're asking. You're not asking him to suddenly start making 10 more tackles a game. He was just a little bit off with his timing, which meant the pass was a little bit slow. And he could have been 10% better without actually improving anything in his game and just a bit of partnership understanding.
That'll come.
I just want to throw that in, that
100%.
Could have been even more effective and run even further. Now,
and think about think about the right hand side we started with, and the right hand side we've got now. Like we said, so many changes to the team. He's got different bloke from usual to his left, different bloke than usual to his right. The only constant has been Miski, but not to say constant. He's missed a few games himself.
I don't think Walters' combinations would have been that much with Miski.
No, not really.
Luke Thompson got Sky Man of the match.
Yeah.
27 tackles, 10 carries for 120 metres.
He picked up 3 Wigan Way points as well for us.
Was really, really impressive. I just want to mention 2 other players running metres. Bevan French, 21 carries for 223 metres. There was a bit in the second half where I said to both of you that he looked like he had the bit between his teeth. He was really up for it.
He was trying to take the game by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah, and he did that with the setup for the second try, Marshall's second try.
Speaking of these Wigan Way points, we haven't really mentioned it too much. We kind of hinted at it, but we've given 3-2-1 to just Wigan players every game this season. I'm not sure anyone will be surprised to find out Bevan French is leading.
Yeah.
But who do you think is going to come after him? I'm just interested to see, because we obviously gave the points mostly together every week, but only I've been really keeping track of them.
Yeah, I haven't kept track.
So I know the numbers.
So you know who's second?
I know who's second, third, fourth. After that I don't, because it's on my laptop, but I know who's second, third, fourth.
I'm going to say Luke Thompson second.
I'd have gone Smith.
Thompson is in the top 4. Smith's not,
fourth.
actually.
He's fourth.
Thompson's 4th, yeah.
You just said top
No, because
3.
I said I only know the top 4. I only know top 4.
Marshall?
No.
With his tries? No?
No.
Did he say Smith, was it?
No, Smith's not
Smith's
in.
not in the top 4.
Who do we always...
December. Was it?
Not yet. He probably would have been. I think if it was on points per game,
Yeah.
he definitely would be.
I'm just thinking, 'cause he had a couple where he got threes.
Yeah.
O'Neill.
Not O'Neill. O'Neill's missed too many games as well. I think if this was on points per game basis, it would be.
Jake Wardle.
Correct. Jake Wardle's second.
80-minute kid.
No. It's Jay Field. Jay Field, yeah. Jay Field got
I shouldn't be surprised by that.
third place. But he's been a bit underrated, I think, this year, Field, with the third place. I think if it was points per game, and Semba would be right up there. Not with French, but with those other three.
Yeah.
Because it's French and then a big gap, if I'm honest, and then it's those other three.
Yeah. Another one that I just want to mention. Liam Marshall, he did get 2 tries, but also ran 187 metres.
Yeah.
24 carries, he took a lot of big carries down the middle. Got belted a couple of times, but he's always looking for work.
So Marshall now, I mean, he's probably going to end up with his most career tries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? His try scoring form this year has been absolutely incredible. How many games has he played? 16, 17?
I'm going to say you've got the stats, mate.
He's got 21 tries. And so 21 tries in 17 games.
Phenomenal, that.
In all comps.
Really.
So 21 tries about halfway through the season. I'm sure he can't keep that up because obviously the cup games are finished now. And there's obviously the World Club Challenge Extra. But for me, he's got to play for England in a couple of weeks. He's got to be capped. Mm. He's been so good. You're not going to have Dominic Young available. Why wouldn't you cap Liam Marshall at this time? I think it's the perfect time in his career for him to just make that step. He deserves it.
Yeah.
And if there's no Wigan players selected, good, they can all have a week off. But I think Marshall deserves to be selected for England.
I think so. Looking at the game, the other thing I wanted to just highlight the errors and the negative side of the game. We only made 5 errors compared to Wakefield's. Castleford's 13.
You're thinking about last year when we kept going to Wakefield. Oh, no, that was 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Mm. And the missed
year.
tackles. We made 17, which I thought...
Missed 17?
Missed 17 tackles.
Mm.
Wouldn't be particularly happy with that. Castleford made 45 missed tackles.
What's a good number for missed tackles in a full 80 minutes?
Well...
I think it's unrealistic to expect to
not miss any.
Well, I think single digits is optimistic.
They completed 25 sets, 25 complete sets. I would be worried if that number was 25 if we missed a tackle every set.
Yeah, I think it's unrealistic to expect single figures.
I would say maybe half of the completed sets.
So
if they complete 30 sets,
13,
maybe miss
14.
15. Yeah,
15 tackles a game you miss. I don't think that's too bad.
I think we were a tiny bit high. Obviously, the Tex Hoy try one to count as a missed tackle because it was just a defensive read.
Would it count as French missing a tackle?
French would have missed a tackle, but I was talking about the hammer Eckersley. So a couple more errors in there. But again,
we only conceded one try. For all the ball he had, we only conceded one try.
Exactly. Right. I think that wraps up the Wigan Cast game. A very handy 2 points, and
very.
I said this after the game. I can't remember who I said it to, but if it comes to the end of the season and we win the league leaders or we get a home tie off a very close thing, you can remember that game.
I put the tweet out today. Actually, I must have read your mind again. That if we end up in the top 2. And I also said the reason we're still in touching distance at the top, having had all these away games, is down to 4 games. And I called out the 4 games that were the reason we're near the top. Not blowing away London, not blowing away Huddersfield. This Cast game, where we won by 2 points and we were off it. Warrington, where we won by a point the week before Cup Final. And the 2 trips to Salford.
Salford away, I was going to say.
The 2 trips to Salford. The one in the pouring rain,
yeah,
where luckily we had a good first half lead that kind of took the rain out of it. And the one where Sneed messed up and we stole the win. That's why Good Friday didn't really affect the league table too much. And that's why when we went away to Hull KR, it didn't really affect the league table too much. That's the reason why.
It's really scary when you think about that if them results had gone the other way,
We'd be fighting in
We could
fourth,
have been on
fifth.
14 points. We could have been near 7 if all of them had gone the wrong way.
And then you're saying, well,
Give 4 more points to Salford.
well, it's okay because we've got all our home games left. But I actually like the fact that it's okay, we've got all the home games left and the game in hand, but actually we're still up near the top. You know, we're only second on points difference.
Yeah.
So yes, we've got all our home games left. We've still only got to go to Catalan, who are having their own trouble at the minute, Leeds and Hull. Those are the 3 away trips. Yes, we've got Magic Weekend, but all the rest are at home.
And the Leeds away is the week before the playoffs, isn't it? If I'm right.
I don't remember.
Oh no, sorry, that's Leeds at home.
Oh yeah, Leeds at home is the week
Is
before the
last
playoffs. Yeah.
yeah. We're almost set up for a perfect, idealistic.
We'll not go through the rest of the season without losing.
No, but our home record is phenomenal.
Yeah. So maybe the only one you can see losing is Magic.
Magic.
If we go
Catalan away.
through and we lose at Magic and Catalan away, I think we'll finish top.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with that, and I'd snatch your hands
If
off
them
the
are
start of the season.
because then we'll gone through the full season losing 4 games. We lost 7 last year. Lost 7 games last year and finished top.
Yeah.
But I
That
think
was way cute.
7 losses this year you'll not finish in the top 2.
No.
I don't think.
No, I don't think so at all. Right, that wraps it up. We'll be back to talk about the rest of Super League shortly. Thank you.
So then we're going to have Eyecatchers again this week, and Tom's going first again. So what caught your eye in the world of rugby league this week? Don't pick a rugby union one again.
Staying close to home, Wigan. Win for the first team. 2 wins for the wheelchair team. 54-16, the first team won, and the reserves won 47-34. The wheelchair team was 6-0 at half-time.
I saw that.
Ended up being 54-16.
What was in the half-time lemonade for the second
I
half
would
to have that
love
many
to
tries?
see that team talk. You know,
So many tries in the
really sorting them out.
second half.
But again, the women won to Barrow,
Yeah, beat Barrow.
46 points to 6. That puts them joint top with Leeds on points difference, 18 points behind on points difference, with Saints in third on 8. And
Told you,
York.
yeah, we're closing that gap.
So, obviously, doing really, really well as a club. The Scholars lost at home in a good game against Hull KR.
Their scholars are very good, actually,
Yeah.
OKRs this year.
But overall, a really, really good week for
Yeah, another
For
good
Wigan.
week for the Wigan Warriors.
Lewis.
My eye catcher this week comes from the Leeds and Hull FC game,
Oh.
a very particular part of the game, in which Leeds is said to Paul Momorovsky. Is that how you say it?
Momorovsky,
got done for a dissent goal. It was quite a funny exchange with Liam Moore, the referee for that game. He thought the pass was forward. He let the referee know that he thought the pass was forward and got done for a dissent call. Liam Moore invites him over to him and says, "You don't shout and swear at me." He said, "I didn't swear at you." Liam Moore said, "Yes, you did swear at me. I heard it. Cameron Smith, captain, come over here. I'm not having him swear at me." And Paul Momorovsky at this point looked with a guilty face at Cameron Smith, went, "I shouted effing forward." Is what he said, because I thought the ball was forward. And he said, "But I didn't swear at you, Liam Moore. I was just commentating on what I see."
Commentating though.
I'm just commentating on what I see, and I thought the pass was forward. So Liam ordered him for shouting and swearing at the referee for dissent. And I thought it was quite a funny exchange.
I feel like that's proper, like, I know I'm in trouble here, so I'll come up with a lie.
I come up with a lie to try and save my own back.
Effing forward though. It's
Yeah.
brilliant, isn't it?
I was just commentating.
Go on, Matty.
Got my eye catcher. Mine's the Betfred Championship, a league I talk about all the time because it's one of the most interesting leagues.
It's so topsy-turvy.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous league, and that's why it's so fun. I'm glad I don't support one of the teams in it because anyone could turn anybody over. But there's 14 teams. The top 8 kind of reads like normal. You've got Wakefield on 22, Sheffield on 16, Widnes 15, Toulouse and Bradford are both on 14, Featherstone on 12, Batley 10, Doncaster 9. So it reads like normal, you know. Couple of teams are level, but most of them got a bit of a gap, big gap between first and second. big gap there to sort of 7th and 8th, and there's a bit of staging between them. The following 5 teams then, York, Swinton, Whitehaven, Halifax and Barrow, are all on 8 points. They've all got 4 wins from 11. So one of these teams is probably going to go down. I mean, in theory, you could say Batley and Doncaster are in danger as well. But Dewsbury are bottom with 2 points. You're thinking they're gone. But one of these teams that's level is going to go down. So you're 9th or you're 13th, but you're on the same points. And it was like that last year. There were 3 teams going into the final day that could have that last relegation spot, and it came down to points difference. The Championship, follow it, folks, because it is a absolutely bananas league, and it throws up some weird results, and there's actually quite a lot of talent in there. Wakefield are the best team. They look like they're going to be coming up, but they only just beat Widnes this week. Sheffield beat Featherstone with a last-minute try, which was a lucky bounce, and
Widnes won by 2.
no, Widnes didn't.
Wakefield beat Widnes by 2. There's some blinders in that.
I'm sure I just said that.
I'm just reminding myself of something.
Bradford are pretty decent again. Toulouse have won 5 in a row. So get on the Championship because it's an interesting league.
Just while you talk about the Championship, have you seen the try-saving tackle in the Bradford game?
No.
From a charge down. It is unbelievable, and rightly so, everyone has gone crazy about this tackle. Only for the other angle to show that he clearly grounded it.
He definitely scored.
He definitely 100% scored.
The ref didn't give a try.
The ref didn't give a try. He's come out after the game and said it should have been a try.
Oh, yeah, I can see it now. He's over the line.
But
that didn't affect the result, though, because Bradford won convincingly. So that was good. I like that, though, people buzzing about the Championship.
It's a brilliant league.
Yeah.
Right, that'll wrap us up. We're back to go around the grounds. Thank you. So we're back, and we're going to go around the grounds, lads. We're going to start over in Warrington. Salford come away with a victory, 25 points to 14. Really good win for them. Salford looking really, really good, and we'll go into Warrington in a minute, but 14 games, 9 wins, they're on 18 points. It's a brilliant start to the season for them, and...
Well, yes, considering Salford were tipped to not be very good this year. The squad was light. They got a new lad from Australia who seems to have done well on debut. And they got the lad from our academy who seems to have done well on debut as well. They're both debutants this week. Beating Warrington. Good win, that.
Hankinson at full-back.
Yeah.
Away from home, this one as well, like the Halliwell Jones.
Hankinson at full-back, he played really well. I mean, he's played prop this year, can you believe? He's played as a bench prop and now he's at full-back. I like him. Versatile, obviously. But I like him. I thought he was really good in this game. And look, when you got sent to like Nenny McDonald,
you
can just create something out of nothing. And
Lafay
on the other side to match. I really like
the two wingers.
I really like Sam Stone, second rower. Really like Sam Stone and Callum Watkins.
Ryan and Cross played on the wing.
Yeah, Ryan Cross.
I couldn't think who played the other wing with Cross.
Yeah, right. Well, Ryan's playing there now. Yeah, I think they're quite a balanced side. I mean, Chris Atkins in the halves, but I think.
Here's one for you. If every club had the best 1 to 17, where do you think Salford finish? I know we can talk about depth as much as you want, and there are question marks about the depth.
Are we talking on paper, 1 to 17?
Paper, do you think the 1 to 17 is a top 6 side?
Well, it's definitely not going to be higher than Wigan, St Helens or Warrington. Let's just discount those immediately. Hull KR 1 to 17 or Salford 1 to 17. I'm going to have a look at this. I'm probably going to go Hull KR.
Catalan?
Salford for me are probably going to be around 6, 7, 8.
I think on paper lower.
I'd
take Leeds' squad on paper.
I'd take
Brody Croft.
I definitely wouldn't take Huddersfield's squad on paper over Salford's. I like all Salford's backs.
Lee? Are you telling me you're taking Salford's?
Salford.
You're taking 1 to 17. I get the backs and the centres.
Salford's 1 to 7, and
Huddersfield.
Lee's 8 till 13.
You're
You're
talking about the backs compared to Huddersfield's. They've got Lafay and McDonald's, yeah. But you're going against Nagama and Masters, who are
I know.
or whatever, the wingers.
So what we're saying here is that Paul Rowley's done an incredible
He's
job.
done an incredible job. Punching. And we've always talked about them punching, but I think this might be the best performing side that they've had, because you look at the previous ones, they've had a Croft, they've had Ackers.
They are without a doubt
with Brealey as well,
the biggest overachievers of Super League this season, without a doubt.
And I think if you compare all the Salford squads, this is the one that pound for pound is punching the best.
Probably.
Because I just think when you look at the other ones that they've had, so last year's, for example, they had Brealey, Croft, Ackers, Sneed. The year before that, they still had Brealey, Sneed,
Van Steel, Croft.
Yeah. Before that, the side that got to Wembley, got to the grand final. Jackson Hastings, Man of Steel winner.
Rob Louis.
Who played full back for them that year?
Was it not Brealey?
It might have been Brealey.
I can't remember. It was Niall Valls.
Niall Valls. You know what I mean?
Niall Levels. I know that winds Lewis up, as I say it.
Kyle Amor over there on the side of the table.
Kyle Amor.
But I think that's just a credit to how well Salford are doing. That if you look on paper, this is probably one of the weakest squads.
For a while, it is.
For a while.
Yeah.
And I think the punching pound for pound the best that they have.
Yeah?
Yeah, 100%.
Warrington.
Warrington.
They've done the exact opposite to us.
0 wins from 3.
0 wins from 3. I think who did they beat the week before us? So Warrington beat Catalan.
Catalan, yeah.
And they've got to go to Hull FC now.
They rested everyone for our game. Well, not everyone, but 8 people. Lost that. But it was a moral victory. Lost in the Challenge Cup final.
But Paul Hall said they were the better team.
Well, yeah, but there's 7 billion people on the planet and one thought they were the better team. Just happened to be Paul Vaughan, the one guy who got a microphone thrown in his face. So, and I'm not even sure he believed that what he was saying there.
He can't.
And then they've lost this week against Salford. There's a lot of discourse today about Matt Duffy.
That's what I meant. They've got to go to Hull FC next week. He'll be flying after their result.
Well, it's the perfect game. If you're Sam Burgess, it's the perfect game.
It's the perfect game. But
it's the return of Burgess and the mile a few then next week, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, Burgess and Mile.
Yeah.
The Eddie Hearn should be hyping this up, to get.
I'm just trying to say they won't be mega confident about going into that.
No.
And they have the chance to go from 1 from 5. That could be a real derailment.
What's that guy called who does The Gloves Are Off? That boxing show.
Johnny Nelson.
You get Johnny Nelson in a room with Sam Burgess and Richie Myler. Boxing fans will be tuning in thinking, are these two in the same weight division? It's a weird clash, this.
Richie Myler needs gone a bulk before he takes it. I do think, to be fair, I know what you're saying, Tommy. They will, and that will make it an interesting game because Hull want to have back-to-back victories and get on an upslope, and why you want to avoid going on a downslope.
Yeah. Hull had there was 12,000 watching Hull this week. How many are going to be there next week?
Oh, they're at home.
After a win, they've got to go to Hull after getting a win. If anyone's going to turn up, then it's going to be them the week after a win.
I do think, this is just my opinion, but I do think Wire will come good again.
I
think they're in a bit of a slump. I think Burgess will realise resting his players was the big mistake.
I agree.
Even though he said it felt like a moral victory and whatever, resting his players was a mistake. It started the law. If you're going to rest your players, you really need to win the cup. Because you rested your players, you threw away 2 points to prioritising the cup and then not won it.
And then not won the following week.
But I do think they will come good again. I don't think this is going to be the typical Warrington where they slump off, they fall bottom of the league and we're all questioning after such a good start, where did they go? I do think they will come good.
I agree. What about Matt Duffy then? You got the reserve fullback Taylor Ray scored 4 tries in the reserves this weekend. Matt Duffy.
I don't think you can drop him.
Matt Duffy he's got pelters this week so far on social media. People sharing the reverse angles of the tries that Salford scored. The Mark Sneed one looks pretty embarrassing, where he gives up.
I'd like to see the depth on it.
Yeah.
How far away that pass is and how far away Sneed is.
He wouldn't have
But
stopped that one. He couldn't stop that. It was a typical 2-on-1. It's typical 2-on-1.
Maybe just try and tackle the guy with the ball and it looks a bit better for yourself.
The worst one is when he starts jogging towards his own try line with his back to play while Sam Stone is making an offload
to
McDonald, who then scores because Duffy misses a tackle on him. Now, I'm not saying Duffy's going to stop Nenny McDonald scoring 1-on-1.
Can't be looking the wrong way.
But you can't be facing the complete wrong direction.
And then when the crowd cheers,
Turn round again.
turn around and go.
Well, I don't know if it's because the crowd cheered. I think as he was turning, he might have seen Stone looking for the offload. So then he's thought, oh, what if he's offloaded? And then he's turned. Because it was quick reactions to turn back around. He realised he'd made a bit of a fool of himself. But he couldn't make the tackle on McDonald. Just looks a bit embarrassing.
Again, the Dion Cross one. It's a really poor effort. And I just think you've just got to...
The cross was the one from the kick.
No, Cross was the...
They scored 2 cross.
Cross just ran
Sneed.
round him, I think.
Just
wasn't
ran
it?
round.
Yeah, Cross ran right.
He just ran through.
Oh, Cross, Cross scored.
Duffy just went in between the two players.
Cross
kind of
scored 2
flapped
tries,
around.
didn't
Yeah, he scored from the
he? He
kick
scored
as
from
well.
the kick as well.
And I just think... Just stop looking for the interception. You've made 2 where you look a bit silly. Just go ball and all.
Yeah.
And you know what? If he passes inside, he passes inside.
I just want to go back on Salford for a second because I was impressed with Hankinson at fullback, and lots of the Salford spectators were also a fan of Hankinson at fullback, and that leads to my next question, which is Braley at 6 when he comes back could be an idea that I've seen floated around. Now, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to be Matt Thompson from 6 tackles. I'm going to be Matthew Thompson for a second. I'm not going to do his voice. But I'm going to ask you two, you're going to be Gus Gould, about Wigan's number 6 situation if we're assuming Jay Field is out for a while, which we think he might be.
Assuming he's out for a while.
Assuming he's out for months, not weeks, which he might be. Let's say Bevan French is number 1, fullback. Right? Who will you then bring in number 6? Now, I've seen the idea floated around of Adam Kieran playing in the halves. He's done it before. He was a halfback coming through Sydney Roosters Academy. He's halfback when he played for New Zealand Warriors. He's not really done it in Super League, but it's an option, and people are happy with Eckersley playing centre. So I'm going to ask you the question. You're going to be Gus Gould. Are you yes or are you no?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Why? Go on.
I had this question after Wembley. I'll start with the other side of it. I was debating whether Eckersley comes out of the team for Kieran when he was back anyway. Ignoring the Field injury, I think there's a world where Kieran doesn't get back in. Yeah, and they carry on running Field, French and Smith as the 1-6-7. The Field injury, if for a long time, becomes a straight question between Hampshire, Farham and Kieran for me. And I think they would need to try it if it's a long-term thing. I think Hampshire, a couple of times, has probably not been up to the level needed. I know it's a difficult situation, coming in and being the reserve guy. But the mistakes at Warrington, maybe he's on his back end of his career.
He's not been fantastic, has he?
He's not demanded that 6 shirt.
No.
And I think that says enough to me that he's not. I'm not sat here going, the chances he's got is, yeah, he's the 6 now. He hasn't done that for me. And I think that's why Eckersley's almost demanding that centre shirt. And I suspect that's why he might try Kieran.
Lewis Gould, yes or no, Kieran in the halves?
No. I am. I don't. I think it's a bit of a panic decision just to. I mean, I know he's still got one more game out, Kieran, hasn't he? He misses London on Friday. Then it's the internationals, isn't it? So he'll be back after that. I don't. I think it's a bit rushed. I think there's a couple of things for me. One, I don't think Eckersley should be playing loads of games, being the age he is. I think he's done a job. He's come in. He's played a good couple of games now.
I think he's older than you think.
While he was the,
He's 20.
I think
We said the same about December last year.
I think he's a good chance of being burned out.
With the burnout, Eckersley's 20. December was 18 last year.
Yeah, but he didn't play every week.
In December, arguably won't be playing as many games as he did now if Ice was still fit. He's doing it because he has to.
I agree.
A year younger, playing in the middles.
Yeah.
Like if
But I think he's doing
Kieran's injured, if the time,
if
then
Kieran's
Eckersley does have to do it.
Eckersley plays because he needs to. That's his job. He's the backup centre, like you've said before, Matty. We got rid of Thornley, and Eckersley comes in.
So are you saying in? I was going to say 2 weeks, but it's 3 weeks because of the international break. Eckersley doesn't play.
If Kieran's back, no, Eckersley doesn't. Kieran's in for Eckersley.
I think he, yeah, probably.
Kieran's in for Eckersley. Obviously, Wardle takes the other shirt, and either
Well, it's just a shootout.
Hampshire goes in at half back with Smith as 6.
It's Hampshire or Farrimond.
Or Farrimond comes
It's a
in.
shootout between.
Farrimond a run out.
It's a shootout between Hampshire and Farrimond. Yeah, I can
And
get
Eckersley
that.
goes.
I'm with you on Eckersley. I don't think he should be playing.
I
every
do
week.
understand what you're at Hampshire. As he's not done himself justice, all right, at Warrington, and then obviously Cass on Friday night. But my thing with this is, he's played on a couple. It's hard, is what I'm saying. I think, and I get the all right. He's a professional who plays what he's paid to do. That's his job. He's got to come in and perform the standards, and I get that. But at the same point, I've got a bit of empathy. He's in the reserve. It's not the same level as first team Super League. He comes in at Warrington and gets asked to play full back when really is. To me, I know he has played full back before, but most of his was going to give it half. Now it's a new job. You're going to full back, by the way. All right, okay. Then he comes in after the Challenge Cup, and it's but now you're at half back. And on Friday, he had a completely new side around him with Walters and Eckersley, and then on that side it was all completely new. I think to expect them to put in a 10 out of 10 game, there's going to be disjointed. Well, do you know, I've got a bit of empathy for him as well, and a bit of sympathy, and I think to just throw him out for Kieran.
I think you've got to change the question first of all. It's Eckersley or Kieran at centre.
Well, if it's that, I'm choosing Kieran.
Kieran.
I'm choosing Adam Kieran. At this stage in their careers.
Don't get me wrong, Eckersley, you're not going to like me saying this. Eckersley has been good, he's been very good, and for a 20-year-old lad, he's come in and done a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but there has been times when he's been caught in no man's land on defence sometimes, which he is going to do because he's a young lad still learning his trade.
Yeah. And
do you know what I mean?
It's
been time.
Yeah.
Kieran's not let the world out at centre. He's not been.
I don't think he's been bad though.
I won't say he's been bad. But at this point, you remember at this point last year we were talking about Toby King, and there was calls for Toby King not to play again.
This is the thing. It takes time, doesn't it? Is what I'm saying.
Well,
Do you know what I mean? It takes time.
I think if it's a choice between Kieran and Eckersley, I'm choosing Kieran. But
well, the next question then is are you going Eckersley and Kieran at 3 and 6?
I would think about that.
Kieran and Hampshire.
I would think about Eckersley and Kieran. I really would. I'd test the waters, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't know how confident Kieran would be playing in the halves. It's been a while since he's done it.
We obviously only see 1% of what everything is going on. And
it's an interesting idea.
And probably going off the game isn't enough.
I don't think they've given it enough time. It feels he's had an hamstring injury before, like a couple of seasons ago, didn't he? It was 8 weeks.
Let's say he's out for the rest of the season. He's done for the season.
Yeah. So I would go, to start with, Kieran comes back in, Eckersley goes out, and either, if you want to give it Hampshire or Farrimond, they're your two backup half-backs.
Probably Hampshire.
Takes it, and it's probably going to be Hampshire off experience. Alright, he's not had the best couple of games. If you go another, and it is clearly not working, and a change needs to happen, I'm okay with the change happening. But I think just to lob it out on a game where he's asked to come in at full back in an unregular position, and he's been asked to back up after the Challenge Cup in a completely new left-hand side with different people around him.
With no training all week.
With no training all week, Mike Pizza did a 40-minute session.
He was training.
Yeah, he was, but
training.
he wasn't training with Eckersley, was he?
Him and Walters were.
Yeah, but
it's not the same. It's a completely new
he's
side.
not trained.
It's going to take time. I think for one game for throwing him out I think it's. I've got empathy for him. I think he sticks there for a bit.
I don't think this is off one game. First of all,
no,
I don't think he's come in.
I know he's not.
He's played 6 or 7 games this year.
Yeah,
and I know they've been different positions and they've not been runs of games, but in none of them I've thought, well, if he plays next week, I'll be all right. I've not been overly confident, and that's the thing to remember.
He has been critical of his own performance in the media this morning.
What do you make of his comments? I was going to say, what do you make of his comments today?
Honest, but he's
That
playing.
He's got options elsewhere.
But Matty Pete's his coach. I think he would encourage that. He's being honest. He had options elsewhere last year, and he decided to stay. Ian Lenigan gave him Club Man of the Year for the way he performed and the way he worked at training and the way he was around the place. And he actually said, Ian Lenigan said, I think he'll get more chances next season. Now he's staying on. He's not had the chances he wanted to. Matt Pete said the same thing.
He's automatically gone ahead of Cust, who was probably ahead of him last year.
Yeah.
But everyone has a bad run of games. Harry Smith come under a load.
He's not really had a run of games, never mind a bad run of games.
That's what I mean, and look how much stick Harry Smith had. Just to mention Toby King there, Jay Field when he had to play at 6 and he got criticised for defensive work. It happens in a Wigan team. Some people are, they take the blunt of it, they become the scapegoats, if you like. And I'm not saying necessarily he's a scapegoat, because he has performances have been under par, but I think it's going to take time. And I'm not really a big fan of moving Kieran into. I know you're saying he has played half-back before, but he's a centre. Do you know what I mean? His plan was to come in and play centre for Wigan. He got the number 3 shirt on his back, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Bevan French was the player that's on the wing last year, and he ended up winning Man of Steel at standoff.
Bevan French never plays the number on his back. It's written in
French
the stars.
French is different, Gravy. It's
Also-
an irrelevant argument. It's
Also-
different. You could play anywhere.
I'm just pointing out.
French would be our best player if he played loose forward.
I'm just pointing out.
Bevan
that
French can play anywhere and he does the exact same role.
To talk about plans, he was meant to play on the wing.
I know, but it's written in the stars for Bevan never to play the shirt number on his back.
Yeah.
Played full back when he had 6 on his back. Then he played on the wing when he had 1 on his back. Then he played.
And in each of them times,
6.
Each of them times that he's moved, when he got
Because of injury.
moved onto the wing because of injury.
No.
When he went, what I mean is that time that he was injured, he had the number 1 for his back, and he put Field there,
Field was flying.
who was 23, and we didn't know how he was going to get in the squad. Comes in flying
He moved to 6 because of an injury to Cade Cust.
because of the injury to Cade Cust, and then Miski starts flying. So there has been movements from position to position that has worked. And I'm not saying this Kieran thing is going to work or not work, or they're going to do it or not do it. Matty Pete will know.
I'd have a think about it. It's an interesting idea. I just thought I'd bring it up. We were meant to be talking about.
Warrington.
We've got through one game, haven't we?
Oh gee, how long's that?
21 minutes.
Right, shall we carry on? Hull KR, Huddersfield. Hull KR win 32 points to 6.
Yeah.
Big talking points, Andrea Cervello, red card on his debut.
Yeah.
Not been banned though. Been banned.
No, he's not been banned.
Ryan Hall then goes on to get 2 tries and officially break the record, or is he now?
No, he broke the record, yeah. He tied it and broke it in one game.
Yeah. I couldn't remember if he was already tying it.
Good for Ryan Hall. What a player.
Deserves it.
What a player. What a person as well. Yeah, he deserves it.
Great for Super League, great in the England game, playing internationally against the Aussies and the Kiwis.
And if you feel like he's a person who not only does he deserve it because his hard work and his commitment, but you feel like he deserves it because he seems like a genuine, down-to-earth guy.
He's just a nice bloke.
He's a nice bloke, but also he cares about the game. He's knowledgeable about the game. He's not just one of those guys who stands out on the wing and finishes a lot of chances because he's acrobatic and, he's a thinker. He's a proper winger.
Yeah.
He's a bit old school, like we said before about Walters. He's a bit of a throwback player, and I like that. And I like that someone like him still has a place in Super League.
100%.
Good for Ryan Hall.
Right, Matty, I want to ask you something. We were driving over to Castleford.
Yeah.
Teams came out and we discussed the 1 to 17s of both of these.
Well, all the teams, really.
Of all the teams, because
that were playing on that Friday night.
Obviously, you're driving over and you've got a lot of time to pass. But we were all confident of a Hull KR win.
Yeah.
Considerably. Do we think the Hull KR side is that much better? When you look player for player, our Hull KR are 30 points better team.
I think if you look at it player for player, like you said, the Hull KR are a better side. They're a better side on paper. Are they a more expensive side? I don't really know. That's probably quite even. But on paper, you'd say they are a bit of a better side. You know, we like their 3/4 line, don't we?
The issues they've got with Jake Connor at the moment.
Yeah, Huddersfield don't really know their best spine, and we quite like Hull KR's spine. Some of their players in their spine, but not by this margin.
Not that it was so confident.
Not that we were just thinking Hull KR against Huddersfield. Oh yeah, Hull KR will win that easily. It shouldn't be like that much. That much of a difference.
There shouldn't be that much difference between them.
No.
Right, should we get into the big talking point games?
Yeah.
Hull FC Leeds. Hull FC 18, Leeds 10.
They got their first win.
Just point out this is 18-0.
Yeah, 18-0. Yeah, 18-0. It was their first win in 10 weeks. Oh, around 10 weeks, maybe even more now.
I want to give some credit to Hull FC for sticking in there and coming out each week, and you actually look at the performances, the points difference between the scores has decreased. They lost by 6 last week, 8 the week before. It's been coming down. How bad is this for Leeds?
Well, it's good for Hull FC.
Just sticking with Hull FC, I watched this game, and do you know what the big thing was that changed for them? Just effort. I know it sounds so basic and so simple, but it was just effort early, as you could tell. Centre come back from Carlos Tumabave come back in.
He's the club captain.
Well, you could tell he was leading with what he did, his defence, his runs and everything. The people just turning up, numbers in the tackles, and when they was defending the try line, you could tell whereas they'd been a bit soft, had a bit of a soft underbelly, and they let in cheap tries. None of that. They were defending your try line like your life depended on it in certain situations, and it was good to see. And I think the interim coach at the minute, is it Simon Griggs? Is it?
Is it Simon or Scott? I never know which one.
Simon
Griggs. We'll just go S. Griggs.
I'm sure it's Simon.
Griggs
was a fullback for Huddersfield.
Yeah.
Simon Griggs. He made point. It was just effort areas, and he was saying he was proud and he was really happy for the team, and it picked them up. And
that'll do them a world of good. And they've got some young players in that squad.
They needed a win.
Martin, they needed a win. They needed to know what it felt like to win a big game. You can't forget that Hull FC have made 4 overseas signings. Well, they made more than 4, but you know what I mean. 4 big overseas signings. Tex Hoy currently plays for Castleford. Franklin Pele currently plays for York. Jade Knockenball currently plays for Bradford. And who's the other one? New Brown currently plays for St George Illawarra. That's a prop, by the way, in the reserve team. That's wild. But you know what I mean?
The fifth one, SESA.
It's been pretty good.
Been impressed with him.
But you can't hit 1 out of 5 on your Aussie recruitment and expect to be a decent team. So I almost feel a bit bad for the current coach, the interim coach, Griggs, because not his fault. He's trying his best with the players that he's got, but a lot of the salary cap will have been eaten up by those 4 players who are no longer playing for you, and you can't replace them just yet. I think they will do.
I'd love to know who made them signings.
Yeah.
They were on about Tuamavave and Truman taking up a third of the cap. Was it a third or a third of the
something like that?
Third of the cap was eaten up on 2 players, and they were both injured at the time, and that just feels wrong as well, doesn't it? So I have some sympathy for Griggs, and I have some sympathy for the players and the supporters, because none of that is their fault, and they keep turning up week on week. So part of me is actually quite glad they've got a win.
Yeah. Do you know who I was impressed with in this game?
Go on.
Ashworth. Hull FC.
Yeah.
No prop forward. I think he was 16. He's back.
Yeah,
He comes off the bench. But he was one to talk about effort before. He was doing a lot to try and pick his team up. He put a big shot on. Some good strong runs, trying to galvanise his team and pick them up.
He's a lad from St Helens, isn't he?
And I was watching him play, and I thought, like, he's just one who caught me eye. Interesting, they had Tony Smith as the Sky Sports guest for this one.
Yeah.
Obviously, being the former.
Well, he said he got
Well,
sacked. He said he got sacked too early. He should have had more time.
Yeah.
I don't know about Tony Smith. Obviously, Tony Smith knows the game inside out. Would he have done as well? Would he have done better with this squad since he got sacked? I don't really know. It did feel a bit stale, didn't it, at the end of Tony Smith's era? But then again, they haven't really had a new manager bounce. But then they're not getting the new manager until next year. It'd be interesting to see what happens. Cartwright is coming next season. His son is going to start playing for them now. It's a back rower.
Another bad Aussie signing there, though.
Well,
The other one.
the son.
No.
Oh, I was going to say the son. You don't really know because he never plays. But the what's the other guy called? Stewart. He's a fullback. They signed a fullback. You know about this, Lewis? They signed a fullback from Dragons.
Oh, I think so. But he's not coming because he's with the police.
Yeah, the police have arrested him since he signed. Was it since he signed, or did they already know about it?
They must not have known about it.
I think it was after.
I
think it was after he signed. Then it
became public,
and he's investigated for. He's got a charge of domestic violence, and Hull FC have pulled the contract off the table, which fair enough, but it's the only rational thing they could do.
But it leaves them with a gap now.
It leaves them with a gap. They would have been banking on him.
Who else? There's not an infinite supply of.
No, they've just let that lad. Obviously, that lad who went to Salford would have been looking. David Armstrong looks like he's headed to Lee as a young, promising fullback. So they'll have to replace that lad. It's a shame because he never even played for them. Yeah. You feel like you're behind the eight ball already. Just recruitment's been awful so far, but it's good to see him get it better on the pitch.
Right. Leeds. Who wants to kick this off?
Leeds. I saw
Leeds
something.
Don't want to kick off because it'll be a short one.
I saw something from Bilko. Not Bilko, Wigan Arrow fans. He's the commentator for Wigan Warriors. He said actually, Leeds Rhinos' average Super League position is 5.5. So we always think about them being one of the best teams, but recently they've not been. They won it from 5th, didn't they, one time, and that'll skew it. But they've not been a top team. They made to the final when they were 6th in the league, and they had a late run with Rowan Smith. But this side,
was that the year they sacked Hager?
That was the year they sacked Hager, yeah. But this side, have they ever been that good in the last 2 years? We're sitting here saying they should have beat Hull FC. They're in 7th in the table. Hull FC haven't won in 10. But realistically, if we're thinking about it, have they showed us that they can do that?
I think the thing this year is the money, isn't it? It's how much they've spent on players who they've brought in and the new faces and the same.
Who they've actually brought in?
A full new
Lockie
span.
Miller, Momorowski,
Matt Frawley,
Croft, Ackers. They've got Cam Smith, who
Gudemond,
yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
They've already got Cam Smith at 13, who should be around the England setup, maybe in the Knights, maybe in the first team squad.
Harry Newman and Ash Handley are both England Knights or England full internationals, guaranteed. You've got Reece Martin, PNG captain Reece Martin.
The young not halfback, the young hooker, Jared
O'Connor. You've got Oledzki and Tom Holroyd, who are both highly thought of, highly rated props. You've got
Sam Lissone.
Justin Sangaré, who plays internationally for France, as well as Gudemond. Sam Lissone.
This is... You talk about Salford's squad punching above the weight.
On paper,
this should be a top 14.
The game's not played on paper, though. And that's why, before, when I was saying Hull KR and Huddersfield, I've got similar looking squads on paper. But we're sitting there thinking Hull KR should definitely win.
But who does that fall down to? Does that fall down to the players not performing?
I don't know.
The easy option is always to sack the coach. If we're being honest, it's easier to sack a coach and have a new guy come in with a fresh pair of eyes and hope everyone picks up.
Yeah.
than it is to replace 10 players, for example.
Well, you just gambled on a new spine. You can't change that.
But they had.
You can't go again and gamble on a whole new spine all over again.
How many coaches have they had since McDermott?
I do think this problem was the coach. I know you're saying it's the easy option, but I do. From watching them, the Leeds, to me, they don't have an identity.
But Agar was the problem.
You don't know.
Yeah, but you got to think Agar's squad did not have a spine like this.
No.
And that's what I mean. But Agar was the problem then. It wasn't the squad then, it was Agar.
Yeah, I know.
Well, Agar, to be fair, was a weird one because he did walk away, didn't he, and say, I
Yeah.
can't do it anymore. He was like, I can't get the
It
best
was a
out of
mutual
these
consent thing, wasn't it?
players. It was a very weird interview, though, wasn't it? I've never seen a coach trying to say, I'm walking away because I can't get the best out. He was basically doubting himself. I don't believe I can do this
Said he
anymore.
didn't
I
think he could
can't
do
take this team any further. Which, obviously, when a coach starts thinking like that, well, you need a new coach. Because you've got a coach who's not believing in himself.
Yeah. You
What
need
he
a
can
new
do.
coach, yeah.
And the players, I can't take this team any further, then you need a new fresh set of eyes. But Leeds don't have an identity to me. Like, Wigan, we're called the Wigan Way because of how we know how Wigan play. Like, Wigan Way of rugby and hard defence, toughness, gritty, grinding out wins. You've got
You can also
teams like Hull KO, are quite fancy going to chuck the ball. Salford haven't really got a pack. They're going to take it to the edges and play. They've got an identity of how they're going to play rugby. Leeds, I don't know what they do. Not really a 5 drives and a kick back the defence type team.
No.
Sometimes they put in Brodie Crossfield kick try handling from their own half, but then sometimes they don't. It's like
I could probably write down a bit of an identity for every team in Super League.
yeah.
And the ones I would struggle with are Leeds, Hull and London.
Yeah.
I think. Every other team.
Cats have an identity.
Cass have got their identity. Yeah.
Classic Cass and
Cass have
playing
got their identity.
their way of rugby, whereas Leeds at the minute, I think that'll stem from the coach. I don't think he's got a system of how he wants this team to play, like he's communicating with the players.
I'll throw one to you quickly. I do want to move on because there's plenty of other games to talk about. You look at Wigan and the Wigan Way. How much of that comes down to the work of Ian Lenigan,
Matthew Peat.
but Ian Lenigan appointing Maguire, who changed that style.
Right, but you talk about Maguire playing that style, but
then-
you needed Sean Wayne.
Then Wayne,
Yeah.
and then all of it above, going into the academies.
Yeah.
I remember listening under Maguire and Wayne. Obviously, Wayne was involved with the junior setup and then became his assistant to Maguire. About every junior age and the reserves all playing exactly the same way. But that's come from the head coach and the director of rugby, Brad Linsky, the owner. How much of this falls on Hetherington? They've now appointed Thingy, what's his name?
Ian Blease.
Ian Blease.
Started the job this morning.
First day today.
He's got to make a decision, pretty sharpish on Rowan Smith, hasn't he?
But if he doesn't sack him, he has to stick with him long term. And they have to make massive changes.
I think he'll want his own boss, his own coach to come.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that's Paul Rowley, not for a second, but what I mean is he'll want a new coach to be his man, to be
Fresh start.
work as a team.
Player.
Yeah, work as a team instead of it being he's coming, but really nothing's changed because Rowan's still the boss.
But they've got to rip. I think they've got to rip the foundations out. Look at what's gone on with the academy.
Well, you can't change your spine again.
No, they can't change the first team. But he to me has got to have a 2-year approach here. Sort the academy out, sort the squad out, sort 10,000 things off the field before you're going to see the benefit of it in the first team. And I know we talk about what Matty Peat did and taking over from Lamb, but the foundations were still there with the academy setups. And he changed the culture of the first team squad, if you want to say that. That's probably the final part of a project, really. Pete's not come in and changed how the reserves play. He's not come in and changed how the academy set up and all of that. He's done the big, obvious job. Leeds have got to do everything.
I don't know, because we've armed off Leeds' squad there, and it's impressive, isn't it? They've got good players, no one's doubting that. I just don't think they have a system when they take to the field. It reminds me very much, I remember when Cunningham left Saints and Holbrook come in, the Sky Sports were going through a period where they was always inviting guests, ex-players on stuff. and one of them was Sean Long, and at the time he was like the assistant at Saints, I believe, when Holbrook come in. And Longy was going to Holbrook and saying about, when he first come in, I've got all these ideas, what we're going to do, I want to change things, and he was going to go on about all these nice flourishing attacking moves, and I wanted to play and stuff like that. And he said to Sky Sports, Longy went, it was the worst thing I could have ever said. Because Holbrook come in and just went, no. He said, we're just simplifying everything down. And he made the game so simple after he did it. And he said he just changed a couple of little tweaks here and there, simplified everything right down. The players bought into it, and it ended up coming with some success out of it. And I don't know if Leeds just need a similar thing. Someone's going to come in and just say, right, listen, you've got ability, you're all good players, here's a system of how we're going to play, let's go and execute it.
It's a simple game. It is a simple game.
It is, yeah. Complete high and don't miss tackles, and Leeds will win the game.
If you have more ball near the try line than they have yours, they're going to win. It's weird. We sit near the halfway line, and I always end up thinking, which way have I looked most? If I'm looking at the defensive line, the try line, we're probably on top.
Yeah.
If we spent more time in our try line, in our half, they're probably on top. You've got to spend time down there. Work hard, make 5 good carries, kick, and back yourself.
But to change the
dropouts.
To change kind of the analogy slightly, when we go and bat on a Saturday, someone will always tell us you spend time in the middle, runs will come. Don't go out there trying to score runs. Go out there trying to stay there, and the runs will come. You get down to the other team's end, and you have tackles in their 20. Not being funny.
At some point, they will miss a tackle.
Brody Croft is going to think of something. Lockie Miller will get something going on.
Sonny will run over someone.
You'll figure something out with the ball in hand. It's just about kick long, play short, and just make the game as simple as possible. And you know what? I'd start that against London. I'd play real simple against London.
The issue they might have...
I'll be mega disciplined against London.
But they might know that they can just play... Let's be honest, put points on London.
Play wherever you want, you put points on London.
And this could end up being a 60-70 nil or 60-70 to 6 or whatever. And it can't paper over the cracks.
But you can't go and do that against Lee, which is is that the next match, Lee? Yeah. So you've got Lee, then the break, and then London. I would be trying to be ultra disciplined in the next 2 matches, and just, I'm not saying take no risks, but risk management.
Outside of the 30.
Risk management.
This is also, again, a change in the league that is making stuff hard for Leeds. When you lose to a team like, and this is, when LFC's not won a game in 10 and they finally beat you, and you're looking to bounce back next week, with how competitive the league is now. There's not an easy game around the corner where you think, all right, brush it aside, oh crap, we're going to play Leeds, and they're flying at the minute. You know what I mean?
Next, yeah.
There's no easy games around the corner to bounce back from easily.
This is it, right? They've played 5 games where you think that could get you a bit of confidence. They've already played the Hull, London Cats, and then lost to Hull. So the games where you go, actually, right, we've had a change, we could do something and build some confidence, bouncing into these. Once they play London, they don't play any of them sides again until round 24. So you're not going to play any teams that you think you can just walk over.
We have some tricky ties coming up. That might be why they end up sticking with Ron Smith. I don't know what they'll do. I'm interested though.
I'm really interested. It'll be...
Around the Grounds has never been this long.
No. We've still got 2 games to go. Catalans Lee. Lee getting a win over in Catalans, 10 points to 2.
Yeah, loads of Lee supporters. Loads of Lee supporters weren't there in this match. So many Lee supporters.
Can't believe Catalan didn't score a try. 1 try all game.
I can because I've watched Catalan. Yeah, Lewis is right. I've watched Catalan a few weeks now. And I can understand why they've not scored a
try though.
No, they've been poor.
They've been misfiring.
You'd expect to. 80 minutes, you get 1.
I've heard Abdul's going. No.
Really? He didn't get picked?
No, he's going. Abdul. He's not worked out the way they wanted him, has he? And if they can get this line over the line for Luke Keary next year, he's exactly what... not by himself, but he's exactly what they need.
That's weird, isn't it? Retired. No, he signed a contract extension with the Roosters till 2025. Then announced he was retiring, and now he's going to come to Catalans.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about it really.
2 years in the south of France.
Yeah, it's a good signing for them. They've obviously had. You think he's not getting an absolute wedge at the Roosters? You guys are delusional. Yes, he's going to be paid well. He'll be paid handsomely.
Free.
Stop waving your imaginary money bags at me. He'll be paid quite well, and the tax obviously is great, but there's more to it than that. I think he probably just wants. The pressure of the NRL as a halfback is ridiculous. Come on, sun yourself in the south of France. 2 years.
On the table.
Maloney, Pearce, Geary. Just sounds right, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Roosters halves.
Lee, big win for them. I know it wasn't a blinder of a game.
Good win.
But
good win.
If you'd have said to him, you'll go over there, score a try and win.
Winning France is a good win.
Tom and Mullins scoring the try sums up the way that they played.
Simple. Winning France is a great win.
Right, last game. St Helens went down to London, 52 points to 6. Lee Kershaw scored in the very last minute to get points on the board, which I'm sort of glad for.
So it wasn't a nil?
So it wasn't a nil. Would you have took 2? You got a penalty at last minute?
Absolutely not.
Darryl Clark, hat-trick.
Losing to 2 is almost worse.
But Blake...
Darryl Clark was incredible, but again...
You can't judge.
It's London, isn't it? You got to. We got to just skip over the London result every week because they're not really offering much competition to anybody. They won that game against Hull, and then they had the week off, and then it was like they didn't turn up against Cast, they didn't turn up against whoever they played last week. I can't remember who it was. Salford. Yeah, they didn't turn up this week. It just almost feels like at the start of the season when we're saying, all they can do is have a go and maybe win a couple of games. Now it feels like, because losing by so many, because they're in a different part of London, the whole squad's not playing well. It feels like they're ruining the London Broncos as a brand now. So even if they do get back to where they were in 2018, 2019, where they were winning things in the Championship.
You're not going to reach new people.
They were winning things in the Championship and they were winning 10 games in Super League and they were tough to beat at all when they had decent players. You're not going to get back to that, and even if you do, the fans aren't going to come back because they've just seen what London Broncos rugby is, which is just losing all the time. And then if you drop them in the Championship now, I could name half a dozen clubs better than them. Yeah. So what do you do?
Any of the talent in that side,
just go and get hoovered up.
Kershaw will get picked up. Maludi will get picked up. I think Alex Walker will get picked up.
I'm not sure on Maludi.
I reckon.
I don't think he's been great.
Was it Featherstone last season who was having a brilliant season?
Yeah.
Championship, and then everyone thought Featherstone's coming up, and then London just picked him like in there.
Yeah, and then we thought, well, if it's not Featherstone, it's going to be Toulouse.
Yeah.
And if it's not Toulouse, it's going to be Bradford. If it's not Bradford, it's going to be York or Sheffield.
So it was just a very big shock.
London finished, was it 5th or 6th?
And managed to get up.
And got up with
So
winning 3 away games.
I know you got to give them credit because they earned the right to come up from winning the games, but they probably weren't ready to come up with it.
And don't forget,
take a risk on him, the young guy back Ollie Leyland.
Maybe. And I tell you what else they had when they won those 3 away games: Sheffield away, Featherstone away, Toulouse away. Corey Norman and Dean Farey, who weren't with them when they came up into Super League. You could argue that squad that got promoted was better than the squad they've got now. Because all the good players they've got now, they already had. And they had a bit of sprinkling of star quality with Norman and Farey.
Yeah, it's mad when you think about that.
So if anything, they've actually got a bit weaker.
It's a weaker squad. Yeah, they've improved as a winger with Lee Kershaw in there.
Yeah, probably.
Professional job off Saints. Just go and get the win.
Saints fair play, did win.
So that's round 14 done. Saints still sit top on points difference. We've got a game in hand in second.
Halfway because obviously there's 27 rounds.
Hull KR sitting third, 2 points behind. Warrington and Salford 2 points behind that. Catalan make the 6. Do you think there'll be any changes to that top 6? Saints, Wigan, Hull KR, Wyatt, Salford, Catalan.
If you're asking me now, I think that'll be the top 6, but I think Catalan will be ahead of Salford and Warrington might be ahead of KR. But I don't really know. I've got no confidence. I've got no confidence in saying we'll finish above Saints. I think we'll be probably pretty level.
Could anyone outside of that top 6?
Lee.
Lee would have a shout, yeah.
Lee have a
I
chance.
Lee's Huddersfield. I think Lee could have a good event.
Lee have a chance to push
in.
in.
Form is 4 wins and a draw out of the last 6.
For me, it's whether Lee can catch up to Salford or Catalan, I suppose. Whoever's worse out of them two. Because I think they're the only ones. Leeds might figure it out, but like you said, they've got a tougher run home than Lee have got.
Right, we'll take a quick break and we'll come back and talk a little bit about NRL and a little bit of predictions. Thank you. So we've got a little bit to talk about the NRL. Some big games over there. I'm going to start off at Sharp Park. The Dolphins play Cronulla. They win 30 points to 28. Nico Hines missing a really, really tough kick on the hooter.
This is called the Bermuda Triangle for a reason.
Belted down.
I've been there. He was belting it down, and it was fitting that it was two nautical themed teams, the Dolphins and the Sharks, because they were basically playing underwater anyway.
But this game, 22-0 to the Dolphins. Sharks get back into it in the last 10 minutes and the start of the second half, make it 24-22.
Yeah.
The Dolphins, on the 72nd minute, make it 30 points to 24. The Sharks score almost on the hooter.
It was, pretty much.
Hines has a kick to win it, knocks it wide, and the 2 points go back up north.
The Dolphins, yeah.
To the Dolphins.
I'm going to make a bit of an outrageous point here about the hammer.
Yeah.
You can keep... Maybe I'll not say that, but you can chat to me about Reece Walsh, you can chat to me about Kalen Ponga. I'm not sure there's a better player to watch in the NRL when he's on song than Hamiso. He is lightning. He is so good. And I know Reece Walsh and Kalen are unbelievable, and Latrell's brilliant to watch in a different way, but
I was just going to say, it reminds me of Latrell when he first came on the scene.
the hammer is, but he's so quick. Hamiso he thinks about going through a gap and he's through it.
That try he scored.
Some of the stuff he does.
That's try of the season already.
Yeah, I agree.
It's ridiculous.
Hammer, what a player.
This is going to be a funny one. He's going to end up playing centre for Origin
Yeah.
for a long time.
I don't mind that though.
I don't.
Greg Inglis did that.
But again, was playing centre for Storm.
He played fullback for South Sydney, didn't he? Played fullback for South Sydney, and he played centre for Australia and for
If they didn't have Reece
Queensland.
Walsh and Ponga, or them two could play somewhere else,
Hamiso was good anywhere.
that's it.
Hamiso can play centre, so
And you saw how good he was in game one.
when he had to move to fullback, yeah, Hammer for me, brilliant player, unbelievable player.
Strange, isn't it, how Australian fullbacks can fill at centre?
They often do, yeah.
They think about Wellesby, who could do it.
Yeah, Wellesby could definitely do it. Wellesby could
Maybe
definitely.
Connor?
Evans goes on to wing, doesn't he?
Connor.
French goes on to
Maybe Connor. Although no.
Hardaker did it for a spell.
But
Yeah, I
Heidecker we think
suppose,
of as a centre now anyway, really.
Yeah, it's just interesting one, isn't it? I mean, like you said, there's a couple who've done that.
They did it for a long time, didn't
on,
they? Like Boyd always played on the wing, but was playing fullback.
They just think, because obviously you get your representative teams there are just full of every team's star player.
Yeah.
And right now, it feels like star players are all fullbacks.
Yeah.
The halfbacks as well, obviously, but star players are all fullbacks.
There's so much depth at fullback.
So Hamiso plays fullback for his team, and Kalen does, and Reece Walsh plays fullback for his team. But you've got to get them all in. Turbo, Tedesco, Edwards, you've got to get them all in somehow.
right.
So actually, you're picking them ahead of out-and-out centres, which is weird. And that's why actual centres want to play fullback. That's why Joe Suaalii wants to play fullback. That's why Joey Manning wants to play fullback, because then they can get in at centre and international level. It's weird.
Yeah. Next game, North Queensland put the points on against Canberra, 34 points to 16.
Yeah.
This is just what North Queensland can do. They can win games big and then look poor the week after.
North Queensland are up and down team. Raiders are pretty much like effort areas and trying to be strong, but they haven't got the best squad, and so if you have an up day for the Cowboys, they're going to win.
Yeah. The Rabbitohs, they beat the Broncos 22 points to 12. They were 22-0 up.
That's a couple of back-to-back consistent wins now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Whiten's gone into the halves, and Whiten was playing well even when he wasn't playing in the halves. But Whiten's
Playing
gone,
at centre again.
yeah, he was playing at centre. Whiten's gone into the halves, and
and he's bossing it at the minute.
Just
Really,
changed it around.
yeah, they've changed it a bit, and he's certainly much
3
better
wins
anyway.
back to back.
Yeah, 3 back-to-back wins. They're good.
The West Tigers beat Gold Coast at home, 18 points to 10.
Well, the Tigers needed a win.
Yeah.
The Tigers really needed a win. They
Takes them off bottom by 2 points.
beat up the Tigers, who've got plenty of injuries.
Sorry, it takes them off the bottom by 2 points difference.
Really?
With the Gold Coast.
The Gold Coast gone to the bottom now.
Yeah, Para joint bottom on 10 as well.
They've come a long way since sacking Holbrook, haven't they? A long way backwards, I suppose you could say.
Another team who's gone backwards a little bit from last year, losing more games than you would have expected. The Warriors, 38-24, they lose to Melbourne. They probably shot themselves in the foot here. You can't have 2 yellow cards against the Storm and go down to 11.
They just got in front as well. They just got in front through a try.
Barnett.
Mitch Barnett, scored a try. They just got in front for the first time in the game, I think. And then you immediately get 2 yellow cards to both your wingers.
Yeah, Montoya gets the first one on the 55th. Then they score pretty much straight after that. Then Dallin gets one, and Xavier Coates scores almost straight after that.
Just immediately, it just stripped him out wide because of course they did.
Yeah, that took it to 32 points to 18 with like 15 minutes left. You're not going to chase that back.
No.
Not going to chase that back at all. Parramatta versus the Roosters. Things started off well for Trent Barrett, beating the Sharks in his first game in charge, but they lost the Bulldogs and the Roosters now. Strange one. They were 16-0 down. Para, they got it back to 18-16. They were winning, and then basically imploded and conceded 10 points in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's a back and forth game, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
16-0 down, 18-16, and then you're losing it last 10.
And you know what? Mitch Moses, before that last 20 minutes, I think he's definitely got the origin jumper. He has ended up with it.
I'm going to say he's in the squad.
He has got it, yeah.
I
he has
thought
got
he'd
it.
blown it. I really thought he'd blown it because he did not manage that game well in the last 20 minutes. The Sea Eagles for St George, 30 points to 14.
Eagle Rock.
Yeah.
I like the Sea Eagles. You know I like the Sea Eagles. Not my favourite team, but you know I like the Sea Eagles because I feel like the league's stronger when Manly are strong.
When Manly are strong,
The league's usually
there's some
quite...
good rugby being played.
I like Manly. So yeah, good to see them
Yeah, last game,
winning.
Penrith beat Newcastle 26 points to 18.
This was a good game.
It was a good game, you're right.
Really good game.
Good effort from Newcastle. Well, they had too much, didn't they, in the end, Penrith?
Yeah, they're a good side, aren't they? I'm still missing Nathan Cleary. Like,
Luai's bossed it though, at number 7, hasn't he?
Lost it, yeah, in this game.
West Tigers must be rubbing their hands together because they've signed him to play 7.
and they signed the winger,
Taruva. Yeah, but they signed Luai specifically to play 7.
Yeah.
And ever since Cleary's been off, he's been playing 7, hasn't he? And Luai, he's been great.
Yeah, big time.
So if the Knights kept on doing it, short dropout. Penrith forced multiple dropout, and every single time.
Yeah.
And I'm sure maybe off 1, maybe even 2, it come back where they end up conceding a try from it, and you're thinking, you've conceded a try from it now, you kick along and just defend, and they didn't. The
Double down.
And went
Double down.
short, or it seems to be a tactic at an hour a minute, doesn't it?
It was fashionable about 12
Well,
months ago.
they're all doing it, and they're all defending better from it than what teams over here do. They seem to be set for it and know that it's all coming and we're going to line it up. Like, when we do it, it just seems like it's some blokes just said, should we give it a go? You know what I mean? It seems a bit off the cuff. Right.
While we're on this section, Queensland New South Wales squads have been announced for Game 2. I can't wait.
Should we just run through them very quick? Queensland, Reece Walsh, Xavier Coates, Val Holmes, The Hammer, Tuolangi, Dearden and Cherry Evans. Got 7 that in it. Stuck with the same 7, haven't he? Tom Dearden, Cherry Evans, Ruben Cotter, Ben Hunt, Lindsay Collins, Jaden Sewer, Jeremiah Nanai, Patrick Carrigan, Harry Grant, Fotuaker, Kafusi and Kurt Catewell. Has he kept the same 17? Or has Catewell come in?
He didn't have Catewell, did he?
No. So, Catewell's come in. Reece Walsh fit to play. New South Wales have been some changes. Dylan Edwards back in. Toto, Crichton, Latrell Mitchell and Zach Lomax. How good is it to see Latrell in?
Yeah.
Latrell.
And he dominated that game for the Rabbitohs.
Yeah.
He has the bit between his teeth. He is going to be serious. Just see.
This is one in the neutral venue, isn't it? This one,
Yeah.
in Melbourne. Usually, the team that wins the neutral game wins the whole thing, but Sydney, they lost in Sydney, the Blues.
Yeah.
So then you might not.
Disadvantage
Yeah.
Queensland.
So if they take it to a decider, it's at Suncorp. The women have got a decider as well, by the way. It's the first time they've ever played 3 games. They've gone to a decider with a drop goal in game 2. Queensland won with a drop goal. They were 10-0 down. They got it back to 10 apiece and they hit a drop goal, and it was absolutely pouring down there as well. It's worth watching that drop goal because she absolutely nailed it.
Yeah. A little bit more changes there. Jake Trbojevic, Reece Robson and Payne Haas. Still the same starting middle, and Liam Martin and Crichton. Just keep the same second row, but Cam Murray comes in.
Fit again.
Yeah.
Gets his place straight away, doesn't he?
He is the definition of an origin player, isn't he? Solid. He's going to have to play up front. I think he's going to have to play 1 minute at prop, because you would suspect that Yeo comes off the bench and plays 60 minutes at 30.
Yeah.
Connor Watson on the bench.
He's been covering 9 for Roosters, but he can cover halves, he can cover loose forward,
Play centre.
centre, second row. Basically, he covers a load of positions, probably 7 or 8 positions on the pitch.
I would say, when we talked about not having
Cover.
cover off that bench and it basically being...
Connor Watson's the perfect 14.
Yeah. But the bench is Connor Watson, Isaiah Yeo, Olakau'atu and Spencer Leniu. I think before the game about Latrell and Leniu, with the incident that happened in round 1, the racist comments.
Well, Latrell said it's behind him.
Yeah.
But, he's got to say that, hasn't he?
Yeah. It'll have been spoken about. Are you surprised Cam McInnes didn't get another game?
Well, I rate Cam Murray quite high.
Cam Murray has to play for me, but could McInnes have
Well,
been
you
there?
can't have both. You can't have Cam Murray and McInnes and Yeo and Trbojevic. You can't have that. So, yeah,
I might have missed out, mate.
no chance. No chance even. Yeo was not missing out. I think Yeo should be starting. I think he should be captain. Honestly. I think he play 80 minutes. Trbojevic only played 20 odd minutes, didn't he, the last game? Captain was playing 20 odd minutes. I would have given it to Yeo. But we'll see.
Right. Big thing. Hopefully no red cards.
Yeah, no reds.
Who are you backing?
There's not many reds in Origin games normally. That was just a serious circumstance because it was such a bad tackle. He had no choice but to send him off. There's not often red cards.
Yeah. Right. I'll ask you who you're backing.
Queensland, I think, are going to sweep it this year.
Yeah. I'm going to go with hope. I'm going to go New South Wales because I want a third and final decider.
Yeah, so do I, really. But I don't think they will.
So I'll go New South Wales.
I'm going to go New South Wales. Latrell drop goal.
Latrell drop goal. Latrell, if you said Latrell man of the match, I could say, yeah, fair enough. Latrell drop goal.
I think there's going to be like a 35 metre out drop goal.
Moses is taking the drop goals. Come on. I think my mate Hammerstall is going to be the man of the match again.
Big games.
Well, he wasn't man of the match last time, Hammer was, even though he got a hat-trick.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
He gave the man of the match to, was it Ben Hunt who got the man of the match? Or DCE, yeah, DCE.
One of the old heads.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back, do some predictions. Thank you. Okay, we've got some predictions to wrap up this episode. Matty, do you want to go through the scores really quickly before this round?
Scores on the doors. You two are tied on 60.
Yeah.
I can't remember how many it's out of now. I guess about 75. I'm on 61.
Yeah.
and the listeners are on 64.
Shoots.
They're not cheating, they're just always picking the favourites to try and
So what
catch
you're
them.
saying is democracy works.
Democracy is working so far, the listeners are being the best.
I hate
What-
democracy.
What we're doing and trying to pick something that's different to try and catch up the listeners is not working. We've fallen behind and we're chasing our losses. It's like Rory McIlroy trying to catch Bryson.
Oh, that's a touchy subject.
I've brought that up now, haven't I?
Oh, right. Castleford, Hull KR, Thursday night. Who you going, Matty?
Hull KR.
Lewis?
Okay.
Hull KR.
Clean sweep, Hull KR. Hull KR.
Wigan, London on the Friday.
Wigan.
Wigan.
I'd back Wigan's B team as well, let's be honest, to beat London.
Do you think us three could play?
Off the bench.
Just anywhere first.
If us three came off the bench and did 20 minutes, we still might beat London.
When playing.
On wing. Play on wing.
I'll have to do opposite, like centre or something.
Least damage.
I don't have pace beyond wing.
Lewis, you could play back row, probably.
Could do back row.
You could probably do back
I'll
row.
do Jabbing back row.
Yeah.
Right. Leeds, Lee. Friday night.
Mm.
Be the big game probably of the week, I think. Matty, who are you going?
For one final time, I'm going to back the aura of Headingley Stadium. It might be, I might regret it, but just one more time. If it lets me down here, I'm never backing Headingley again. But I'm going to back Headingley's aura one more time, and see Lee try to come out on top. Not with much confidence, but I have to catch up the listeners somehow, and I think they're going to go with Lee.
So you and Leeds.
I'm going Leeds. Headingley.
Lewis.
Come
I'm going Lee. I've not been impressed with Leeds. I can't back him.
I'm going Lee as well.
I don't blame you, boys.
Hull FC, Warrington. Could Hull FC...
No. No.
I don't think they could. I was trying
Unless
to
the
back-
question,
I was trying to hype it up.
unless the question was, could Hull FC lose to Warrington? The answer is no.
It was going to be could Hull FC win again this season.
Oh, maybe, but not in this game. I think Warrington are going to bounce
Warrington for
back
me.
here.
Yeah,
It's the perfect game they need, Warrington.
Right. Catalans, Huddersfield. Over in France. Matty, who are you going?
Yeah, I'm going to go home advantage with this one. I'm going to pick Catalan to win. I'm not impressed with either of these teams recently with ball in hand, and I think Catalan defence is better, so I'm going for Catalan.
I'm going to echo the same thing as with Catalan. Lewis.
I'm torn because Catalan in Catalan is normally my safe bet,
Oh yeah,
but I do love backing Huddersfield.
this is the worst fixture for you to
It
predict
is,
ever, isn't
I
it?
do love backing Huddersfield, but they do normally let me down. But like you said, Matty, I've not been impressed with Catalan. They can't seem to get it going.
Yeah,
So for that, you two have gone Catalan, haven't you? So go on, I'll be different. I'll go Huddersfield.
fair enough.
I'll go Huddersfield.
We've got to catch the listeners. One of us is going to catch the listeners,
yeah,
hopefully.
we're gonna try.
Otherwise, we'll all lose a point against the listeners this week. They'll go further ahead.
Right. Salford, Saints. Matty, who are you going? At Salford, just by the way.
Yeah. This is to do the double over Saints.
The home double, yeah.
Or the home double. Or so this is a loop fixture.
Oh, no, sorry, no. They beat Saints at Saints, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
They have got a loop fixture where they have to go to Saints again later on.
They
in
got a
the
loop.
season.
So this is not a loop fixture though. Okay. I'm going to go for Saints to win this one.
Lewis.
St Helens, too strong. Close though.
I agree, close.
Close.
I agree. Because I've been impressed with Salford.
I
But I think Saints will just cut them up from one too many times.
Salford.
You're going for it.
I don't know why. I can't give a reason why.
They're good at
Just-
home,
Just
they-
a feeling. I think they'll be flying, like proper pumped up in the last couple of weeks. Saints have got them injuries. And also Salford are missing a few. I think the injury debt is more to Saints, and I think Salford will be really looking forward to this. They'll spend the Challenge Cup week thinking Warrington Saints back to back. If we could get 2 wins, I'm gonna go Salford. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
It is.
Right. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week. Matty, Lewis, thank you for coming on,
Always a pleasure.
Yep.
and hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Goodbye.